Enterprise Stories is the weekly radio program that shares the experiences of successful Nigerian entrepreneurs and provides expert analysis of their success factors. Enterprise Stories, business stories of success.
Welcome to Enterprise Stories. My name is Olawale Anifuoshe, your host for the program. We have another interesting lineup for you today. To start the program in our teaching segment, we will be looking at developing your business processes. And right after that, we'll be going to the story of the day segment, and we have a female agric person that will be talking about our story in setting up our agric business. But before we start, we'll take a quick break.
Let's talk about moving forward. You need a brand new car or a home loan so you can live in your own house, or perhaps a credit card to shop around the world. You've also been thinking about getting finance for your trade. Well, at Stanbic IBTC Bank, we've got all the products and services you need so you can move from where you are to where you want to be. Stanbic IBTC Bank, a member of Standard Bank Group, moving forward.
Good day, listeners. My name is Victor Afolabi, a faculty member. Today, we'll be talking about developing business processes. Another name for those processes could be business structures or business systems. Fact is that we have high percentage of business failures in the first 10 years of the business. Some actually say only 1% of business succeed after 10 years. In my experience working with startup companies and analyzing most businesses, I've come to find out that most businesses are actually not positioned for growth. And like a popular quote I always say, if you're green, you grow. If you're ripe, then you rot. If we do not put the right structures and the right processes in the business to be able to optimize growth, then the chances of business failure is very high. I know most people, when we hear the word structures and systems, we tend to shut down. We think, oh, it's very expensive, it's very elaborate. But hold a minute, that might not be it. Actually, systems, companies are actually like a product. It has a life cycle, and the first few years are supposed to be the years of intensive growth. What exactly do I mean by growth? Let's be more realistic. You have a supermarket and you decide, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur, and you start out by having only one outlet. Are you likely to retain only one outlet for the next 5 or 10 years? Whether you keep only one outlet or you're able to develop a chain store is a function of how many the kind of system and the kind of process you put into place. So when I'm talking growth, it allows you to be able to visualize exactly what I'm talking about. Irrespective of the business or service you're into or what kind of organization you run, developing business process and system is very crucial for you to be able to translate the vision and the strategies in your brain into tangibles that people can appreciate, that you can optimize, and people can even invest in, or you can even leverage bank facilities, opportunities that even make you fulfill your dream. So what does it take to create a business system or a business process? Very simple. Get a piece of paper and write all the functions involved in your current day-to-day business. That's what turnaround managers do. Just sit down and say, from the beginning of doing my business to the end, from order to cash, going to the market, doing the shopping, who does the accounting function, who does the marketing function, list it out. And you will be amazed and shocked at the discoveries. You even come to find out the number of routines and tasks that are done that are not even relevant to the business. After these have been listed out, then you enumerate clearly what are the activities that forms this group of tasks or this job function. Once you are able to do that, then you are now able to link each of these functions together. And this you are now able to break into roles that are now separated for each person to be able to know, if I want to grow, for example, where are my bottlenecks? I run a laundry and I've seen that I'm not able to meet with my customers' orders. You break the processes involved in a laundry business, the ironing section, the washing section, the collection section. You see where the bottlenecks are. You see where you need to optimize. And if you need to grow, it becomes clearer for you to know, where else do I need to add more effort? Where else do I need more personnel? Where else do I need to do more research? By doing that, it becomes easier as opportunities come our way to be able to system. Business processes and business structures are just simply defining your job the way they are to you, the way you execute, the way you do them. And once this is done, you are able to look at them from beginning to the end. We call it an end-to-end process, and you're able to drive the growth as you see these functions. Therefore, in putting a structure into your business, you first and foremost will understand the overall view of your business, how they are simplified into tasks, how these tasks interlock and relate to each other, and if I need to grow, in which of these little segments or these little functions do I need support or extra capacity to grow it and be able to ensure that I translate my strategies or my visions into tangibles for everybody to see and everybody to be able to appreciate. Thank you very much.
Let's talk about moving forward. You need a brand new car or a home loan so you can live in your own house, or perhaps a credit card to shop around the world. You've also been thinking about getting finance for your trade. Well, at Stanbic IBTC Bank, we've got all the products and services you need so you can move from where you are to where you want to be. Stanbic IBTC Bank, a member of Standard Bank Group, moving forward.
Welcome to the Story of the Day segment. And with us in the studio today, we have an entrepreneur, an agri-entrepreneur, Mosumola Cynthia Umoru. She's the CEO of The Farm Shop. Mosumola, welcome to the Enterprise Stories.
Thank you very much, Wale.
Why farming? How did you get into the farming business?
Why farming? The answer I would have to that is why not farming? Basically, I got into the farming business because I know that as long as man is alive, there's only one thing he can't do without after breathing air, and that's eating food. So as long as man eats, it means that I would stay in business.
When did you get into this business?
Right out of college.
Right out of college?
Yeah.
And are you from a family of farmers, or how exactly did you, get engaged in farming?
Well, my paternal grandpa was a cocoa farmer and a cassava farmer, yes. But I was his city grandchild, so he never let me go to the farm. My love for farming grew in secondary school. I was an active member of the Young Farmers Club, and I enjoyed the fact that I had the privilege of taking vegetables home every other weekend. And it was from the soil that I tilled myself and cultivated, and that just made me think that I could do this beyond just eating and taking vegetables from school. And the opportunity presented itself upon graduation. My father had gone to report me to a friend of his who was at the time the GM of a procurement arm of one of the QSRs in Nigeria, and she was upset that I wouldn't take a job. I had the privilege of doing my internship with ExxonMobil, and they wouldn't see why I would not stay there. And for me, I thought that there was more to life than working in Mobil. It's every young person's dream to work in an oil company, but it wasn't for me. I saw the opportunities there. I mean, it's a sector that is growing. It's not emerging. It's been here forever, and it will be here till eternity. Man would eat, but I saw it beyond food. I saw a business opportunity in the food industry, and I took advantage of it.
Okay, great. So what was that specific thing that happened that made you to set up Farm Shop?
Farm Shop was born out of the need to deliver fresh food produce to the populace. I had challenges occasionally wanting to pick certain items, and I would have to travel a few kilometers to go and buy fresh produce. And I thought to myself, through university, I had the privilege of shopping for a lot of married women who were busy executives and couldn't go to the market. And I thought, look, I cannot sustain this model shopping for these women forever. How about setting up a nice, posh market that they can all come to and pick up their fresh food produce at competitive price?
And
so
that's
that
how
gave birth to Farm Shop.
Farm Shop.
It was meant to be towards the 10th year of my business, because my business is now 7 years old. But the opportunity presented itself yet again, and I just took advantage of it. I'd supplied to a few QSRs. By that I mean the quick service restaurants in Nigeria. I'd delayed our payments a few times, and that was really, really killing us. And I decided, rather than waiting indefinitely for other people to owe us, why not revisit my business plan and change the strategy? so we could increase our output and also affect our bottom line positively.
Yeah. So the points in the business, I mean, like every other business, the challenges that you face, and of course, the payments from the quick service restaurants were one of them. What were those other challenges that you were facing, and when were you able to resolve them and start to grow the business? Because right now we all know what Farm Shop is doing.
Mm-hmm.
So at what point did this turnaround happen?
It's interesting to be in this studio because when I started off first, everyone thought I was crazy. I mean, a lot of people thought I was insane. Why would you go into farming? Why dare agriculture? Many people didn't see the opportunities that I saw. And one of the major challenges I had at the point was funding. I usually required a good cash flow, and I needed so much money to drive the business at the time, and which I didn't have. So I was handicapped at some point. Another major challenge I faced was access to land. You know, you on one hand you have access to capital, because I started off as a retail business, which I am now back to. I didn't start out with core farming. I started outsourcing this produce, and then taking them to the quick service restaurants who required them. But along the line, the inconsistency in the supply also pushed me to start producing earlier than I thought I would. And in production, I needed land. Because I was doing chickens and snails, and they had to go to the clients frozen, power was an issue. So we had myriads of challenges: access to capital, access to land. I needed men to support me to be able to get land and use that as collateral. And it was really unbearable. It was frustrating, and I was on the verge of giving up. I was actually going to give up, but something within me just kept saying, this is what you want to do. Why are you giving up? And so I decided to do something else on the side. Unfortunately, the parallel business I ran threw me into more trouble, because it was a terrain I didn't fully understand. I was importing electronics, and I faced challenges.
Electronics.
Yes, I was importing electronics from Dubai. A friend in my business school at the time, I was running my MBA at the business school Netherlands, and a friend in school had told me he used to go to China and Dubai every weekend. So I decided to follow him and just start bringing things in, and I was making profit until my third shipment, when the cargo airport was on strike and I had issues. I virtually lost everything that I had put into the business, and the question was, where do I go from here? I knew I was cut out for business. I knew it had to be agriculture. I knew it had to be food, but I wasn't sure how to go through any longer. And just at that point, the 10,000 Women program came up.
Yes.
And I applied for it, and I got the privilege of coming, because I had pulled out of business school. By the time the challenges started, I could no longer pay my tuition, so I had to come back home. And a friend of mine told me about the 10,000 Women program, a scholarship for women in business by Goldman Sachs. And that saw me through running the certificate in entrepreneurial management at the Enterprise Development Center here in Lagos. The program lasted for 6 months, and by the third class, when we had the strategy session, I realized that I truly knew my business, and I was extremely passionate about my business. And all I just needed was the how-to. I just needed a bridge between the errors I had made in the past, which again took me through a learning curve, and where I was. So going through that, I was able to reappraise my business and start it all over again, like a newborn, this time with more vigor, greater excitement, increased passion, and a resilience that I don't think is ever going to leave me till I die. I am today very happy that I took part in that program, because it has evolved and helped me rediscover myself. Having started my business started my business on a new leaf, I realized that I had so much to give. I not only run Farm Shop and run honeysuckles, which was my takeoff point. I also decided to pay it forward in the community by supporting other people who didn't have.
I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you short.
Okay.
I want you to just quickly take our listeners to honeysuckles, because
Right.
that is how I met you. When I met you, you were honeysuckles. So
Yes.
can you tell us how you evolved from honeysuckles to the farm shop?
Honeysuckles was my trade. It was a sole proprietorship. It was a trade name. I registered it just to deliver chickens and snails and catfish to the Chris service restaurants, and that I did for about 4 years before I got the scholarship to go to back to business school on the 10,000 women program, and I kept running that, but because I now had I'd owned my business skills. It's become easier for me to know that I could no longer run a sole proprietorship venture. I needed to scale up my operations so that it can impact positively on my bottom line. I had to take steps in that direction. So what we did was register a trademark, which is Farm Shop. Okay. And we started trading in the retail space again as a full agricultural entity. Haven't done that for about a year plus. Farm Shop is officially 7 months old. Unofficially, it's about a year, 2 months old. And because we did a test run, I put to use a lot of the things I learned in business at the SEM, so that I could actually measure growth. And Farm Shop has evolved. We're looking at setting up different outlets. We've run one outlet successfully for a year, and now we're looking into setting up outlets in other areas. And we have people come to us and say, look, we've followed your business journey. We want to buy your franchise. Brand us Farm Shop. And you don't know how exciting that is for me to see a baby that I gave birth to several years ago suddenly start walking, it start crawling, and now we found our feet, because not only do we have a standard retail outlet, we even have our own huge farm now. We have 25 hectares of farm operations in Ogun State, which we didn't have when I started Honeysuckles and when I came to business school. What we had was less than an acre. It was just about 4 acres actually, and it was leased, and we had limitations. But today we own our own land, and sometimes I run on the plot. It would take me 8 hours to walk around my farm estate today. So that's good exercise anyway. So I'm excited. And there's so many other things coming up.
Yes, Musmola, you are an Ashoka fellow. And that's a lot of work on its own. Yeah. And with the Farm Shop and all these exciting things that are happening, it didn't start in one day. No. What would be that message you would be sending out to the young people out there, the young entrepreneurs that are interested in going into the agribusiness?
What I would say to anyone who would like to go into the agribusiness is that the journey may be tough. The road may not be easy. The spirit of resilience would keep you through. Above all, trust in God. Discover yourself. Follow your passion through. You will find success if you keep at it.
And on that note, thank you, Musmola, for sharing your story with us today. We've come to the end of the Story of the Day segment, and we'll be back with the analysis from our experts.
Let's talk about moving forward. You need a brand new car or a home loan so you can live in your own house, or perhaps a credit card to shop around the world. You've also been thinking about getting finance for your trade. Well, at Stanbic IBTC Bank, we've got all the products and services you need so you can move from where you are to where you want to be. Stanbic IBTC Bank, a member of Standard Bank Group, moving forward.
Welcome back, listeners. We are now in the expert analysis segment, and with me is Victor Afolabi, our faculty, to look at Cynthia's story and give us some useful pointers as to those things that we should look out for. Victor, Cynthia's story is very interesting.
Very.
And I'm sure that you would have a lot to say about this.
Yeah, quite a lot. A lot of things for people to learn from, a lot of pointers for entrepreneurs to watch out for. And one thing that really hit me so well from Cynthia, which I also tell a lot of people, is there are a lot of things you're doing for people today for free that you actually could turn into a business model. She was shopping for people for free. And every time now and then I meet a lot of people who like to sing, you need to understand how to develop the commercial aspect of the things you're passionate about. Really, have you ever thought of sitting down and watching those people play football? I tell my friends from time to time, the owner of the stadium is making money. The people that are playing the football are doing what they're doing and are being paid for doing it. It's the same thing. Develop a business model around the things you love to do. Then you'll not get tired of the challenges you will definitely experience running as an entrepreneur. And for me, that's the first thing. Cynthia did a wonderful thing by transforming what she did at her spare time, what she enjoyed doing, which was shopping for people, into a business model that is now taking her to the part of fulfilling her dreams. What other thing do we see there? We also see that for a lot of people, you need to always learn when to re-strategize and when to look again at your business plan. For an entrepreneur, really, you don't have to complain. Challenges will and must come. That's what makes you an entrepreneur. I see people say, oh, I don't know how to raise capital. Then why are you an entrepreneur? What makes you an entrepreneur is to highlight challenges and come up with ways to solve them. At the right time, she knew she needed to strategize. The quick service restaurants are not paying my bills. Don't cry, don't whine. At times, you don't even need to fast. It's a function of sitting down and looking at your business plan again. What is the next thing to do? And that's what makes a good entrepreneur from a struggling or an average entrepreneur. One other ingredient is the ability to believe in yourself. Cynthia, in looking at all the milestones of her story, she had confidence in herself. She believed in herself. There's nothing you're going through that is common to only you. A lot of people lose everything they have every day. But like I say, what makes you a millionaire is not $1 million in your account. Is the process of generating $1 million. If everything is taken from you, you should be able to recreate it. And this comes from having a strong belief in yourself. Be passionate about what you want to do and what you want to live for, and go for it. There will always be obstacles and challenges. Believe in yourself, and then you'll be able to overcome. Those ingredients you can never negotiate about as ingredients for you to be a successful entrepreneur. The other thing she talked about, which everybody knows, is persistence. You always need to be persistent. She was persistent. She believed in the agri business. It's a tough business to run. She believed in it, and today she has a success story in the agri industry. The other point I also like to mention is the fact that as entrepreneurs, we must be willing and open to learn. Go through your learning curve patiently. We can see the dramatic turnaround that happened in her life when she attended the EDC program, the 10,000 Women by Goldman Sachs. It was a defining moment, and for everybody, these opportunities come. It's usually about learning. It's not an uncle that will give you money. It's not all that. Most times, the learning curve is what defines you and makes you a success, such that you can develop a business that will have long-term, sustainable, profitable growth, and you can fulfill and live your dreams. Always take note of this, write them down, and as you go through it day by day, implement them in your businesses, and I can tell you, very soon we'll see you at the top. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Victor, for that insightful analysis on the farm shop. With this, we've come to the end of the episode of Enterprise Stories for today. We hope you enjoyed listening to us. Stay tuned for another exciting episode and enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye. Enterprise Stories is brought to you by Enterprise Development Center of the Pan-African University. For questions and comments, please email edc@pau.edu.ng or log on to Enterprise Stories on nigeria.sme2k.org for useful resources and articles to help grow your business.